Circle of Kings here, coming at you in a new little workspace. I spent some time this weekend cleaning up my desk and figured it was time to set it up to make it look a little bit better for YouTube. So to that end, testing out a couple of things here beyond just the new little setup, or backdrop, I guess, but also I'm going to be trying to do just a little bit of very minor video editing, so bear with me. If it looks just atrocious, I'll get better. I always do. Anyway, I guess for the topic of this video, we'll go ahead and do a quick collection of all the locks that I currently own. Kicking things off with a master lock combo lock. This thing served me all through high school. Still remember the code. Kind of one of those weird little sentimental things. I'm not sure quite why. High school wasn't particularly fun or particularly hell, but I always held on to this lock. I don't know why, but still have it. There it is. It's not really pickable, but I guess I could decode it if I ever forgot the combo of it. But that thing's ingrained in my soul, so I doubt it ever will. Now, when I first started picking, I hit up the dollar store and grabbed a couple of the laminated steel locks here, and they were actually really fun to begin with. It came in a little 2-pack. I think it was $4 or $5. If you'll look at the bottom, you'll see that I think I have a little bit of Sharpie marker on this one. This one had 2 dots. This one originally had 1 dot on it, but I guess it has worn off or something. Anyway, that was to denote the difficulty. I got into this one pretty darn quickly, but this guy here took me quite a bit more time to get mastered pretty well. So there's some bidding on this one. This one was the easier of the two keys, or the easier of the two locks to pop for me, and the other one took me a little bit more time. I don't think the key really does any justice to how hard this thing was for me. It doesn't look like that would be too difficult, but oh well, what do you do? Cut it, put it all down to new guy problems. But those are the ones that I had started off picking with some of the wiper blade picks that I made myself. Of course, one of the first locks you get when you start ordering stuff is a Sparrow's Cutaway, and these things are pretty cool. They're really good for seeing what's going on inside the lock as you're picking, and also then doing some progressive pinning if you have any spool pins or serrateds or anything like that laying around. This guy has been kind of fun, getting some feedback and some visual confirmation of what am I feeling, what is happening. At this point, it's really more of a fidget toy that I just kind of play with on my desk more than anything, but I do quite like that guy. Another one for the collection, a Master 140. This guy I went up and picked up after I think I had progressed belt-wise past him, but I just felt like it needed to be part of the collection. There's something about being here in America and having a collection of the master locks that seems like the right thing to do, especially if you're going to be doing some picking. And one of my favorite locks ever, the Master Lock 1100 series. These guys, I don't know what it is about them, but there's just something. Maybe it's the rounded edges, maybe it's the aesthetic, maybe it's that dang color blue, but there's something about this that's just so pleasing. I don't know, maybe I've just carried it around too much while I was learning how to pick the thing, but I mean, everything from just being comfortable, fitting in your hand just right, even being comfortable to tension while you're hand picking. There's no sharp edges to dig into you, and it's, I don't know. There's something about the Master Lock 1100 series, I'm sorry, American Lock 1100 series padlocks that just kind of, I dig them, I don't know, judge me, do what you will. New acquisition that I have not yet picked. Picked this one up at Lowe's. This is a Master Lock 6840. It's the Pro Series branded. I'm not even sure what that means. Anyway, my assumption was that it was going to be quite similar to the American Lock, since they're the parent company of American Lock. I got this thing home, got to looking really close, and realized they aren't really anything alike. At first glance, oh yeah, it's the same type of lock. However, when you get close and start looking, you'll see that those keyways are like the left and right-hand versions of each other. They're not quite the same. The wording is on the opposite sides of the lock on each of these. Not to mention, the Master Lock is a much, much narrower keyway than is the American Lock. American Lock, I can get a 50 thousandths turner in there without any problem. If you let go of the turner, it will fall out of the lock. The master lock, I'm guessing it's probably in the 30 thousandths or just a little bit less, perhaps. I'm not entirely sure, but my turners don't fit in there. I also have 25 thousandths picks. They don't really want to go in there very smoothly. It's like the warding inside the lock does a much better job of slowing your pick inside the lock itself. So I can feel around, I can feel the pins, I can get on top of them, but the second you start to push on stuff, it feels more as if you're binding your pick up than it is getting anything really done there on the pins. So anyway, that one's fun. I'm going to have to end up getting some new picks for him, and I already have some Jimmy Longs in the mail in 19 thousandths. I'm hoping between that and maybe modifying one of my existing tension bars, the heavy bars from Sparrows, I'll be able to get a good, well-fitted tension bar on it, as well as a nice slim pick to get inside there and get those pins without binding up. Almost last here, we've got a Avis 5540. This guy was a lot of fun, and he is extremely difficult. I don't know why, but this guy was significantly harder for me than the American lock, so much so that I couldn't even get it to where I felt comfortable trying to film it. I'm not quite there yet. I've popped this guy once, an entirety of my... entirely one time. Anyway, supposedly he's got 4 pins in him. The first pin in position 1 is supposed to be just a standard pin, but then 2, 3, and 4 are all spool pins, and this guy has a particularly deep false set. So it's like the core rotates 15, 20 degrees, but the lock doesn't pop, and just sits there and laughs at you. The second you try to reset one of your spools with, managing counter rotation, you just end up dropping 2 or 3 other pins, and I guess it's a binding order issue. I need to try to refine and sit and actually think while I'm picking this one instead of just feel. Then maybe I need to start noticing patterns instead of just poking around. But that guy is still on the chopping block for a little bit more learning to be done. This one, I have not unlocked yet. I don't know why. I can't tell you why. I don't even know what type of lock it is. It's branded U-Haul, and it's obviously a disc type lock or puck type lock. These are intended for going on the back of the U-Haul moving trucks when you pack up all your belongings and end up trucking them to some new location, but they also work out and they sell them, at least over here in the States, in a lot of different self-storage unit type situations, because the way those locks, those hasps work, they hasp up against the outside and just kind of dangle there, so it's nice and easy for you to get your key in and get all your work done. This guy, I will say, though, the key is extremely stiff and sluggish. The pins even kind of have a... It sounds like they're gunked up a little bit. He might need a good clean, but he's also a little bit difficult to open. But once you open him once or twice, he kind of flows pretty nice. Anyway, he's on the chopping block to get figured out and get popped. So beyond that, there's not a lot left. Of course, there's the Sparrow's Scepter with their little training lock for the Schlage SC1 keyway that you can repin rather, and I've progressed to the 6-pin style. So 6 pins in that one. I've got a couple of spools in there trying to figure out what I'm doing wrong here. Maybe trying to feel those spools in a larger format pin might give me a little bit more feedback and answer some questions that might translate over here. Beyond that, I went to Ace Hardware and grabbed a couple of desk locks, the standard, I'm not sure if y'all can see these too well, but the standard desk style locks, that one of them's kind of the piston that goes up and down, and that's what locks my particular desk up as well, and then also the swing arm style that grabs some kind of little bolt or something as it goes through rotation. Just had a little bit of poplar laying around at the house, so drilled a couple holes, screwed a couple screws, mounted a couple locks, and this makes for a pretty okay in-hand picking solution to playing with these guys here. You can sit and get good tension on it with a thumb or with your finger or whatever you want to do while you're picking at it. But I thought it would be neat to have a little trainer for that type of lock, so I made one. Anyway, that's what I've got. Circle of Kings out.